Today we're going to talk about the Jumper T16 Pro and how to set this one up with some of the XK branded RC airplanes. So I actually bought this T16 Pro just to control these XK model airplanes, because I think although the included remote is fine, you cannot really customize it the way I would like it. It does not contain a timer, and of course if I have several of these airplanes, I have to memorize, okay, where do I change flight mode on this one, and if I switch plane, the buttons are in a different location. So it's really nice to have one remote to control them all. I can set up the switches the same on all airplanes. And this one is actually nice. It uses good gimbals. There are a lot of switches and dials, and it uses 16 channels. And I don't know why I ever should use, have the use of 16 channels, but nevertheless it does have 16 channels. And this one, I guess it's also great if you have like more complex things, like maybe drones. So it's a very competent TX. So I think we just better jump in and look on how to set up this one for the XK airplanes. Here we have the screen on the T16, and I show you how to set up the A430. It's the same settings for the A600 from XK, so we'll just look at the A430 then. So I have this one selected, and I press the model button, and I scroll down. When I get to the internal RF section, under mode it should say multi and SFHSS. So this is the right protocol in order to control the A430 and the A600. To bind these inside the A430, you just have to lift the hatch for the front compartment, and over here there's a bind button which you have to long press in order to get into bind mode, and then you have to press bind, and hopefully that will just bind the airplane to the transmitter. So when that's set, I can go into the mixes page and check which channel does what. So this is the channel order. Channel 1 is aileron, channel 2 is elevator, channel 3 is throttle, channel 4 is rudder, and channel 5 is for the flight mode, the 3G, 6G mode switching. So if I long press this one and go one page back, I can see my inputs. Throttle is at 100%, and here I've set the channels to actually have like 3 rates, for at least for this one. So let's check out this first one is controlled from the switch when it's in the up position, the SC switch. And if I switch this one, I go to the mid selection rates, which says 70% and 30% expo, and in the low it's 60% and 30% expo. And here you can see the actual switch I'm using, the SC in the up position, neutral position, and in the down position. And to edit one of these, I have to scroll down to which one I want to edit, and long press this one and select edit. So under edit, I can adjust weight, which is how far the servo moves, and I can also adjust expo. So if we have a look at this curve, for instance, if I move the aileron stick, you can see the reaction. So it's a bit more shallow in the beginning, and then it goes steeper. And if I change to the high rates, you can see it moves even further. So this is 60%, 70% total travel, and 100. So that's an easy way to make it easier to fly, because when you have lower rates, the airplane doesn't overreact to your command. So even if you yank this one, the airplane won't tip over or crash. So that's a great feature. And even if you want to make tight maneuvers, that might be a good thing, to not have you overreact during the stick maneuver. So that's how to do this one. And of course you can adjust different other settings as well. I actually have, if we go back to the, let's see, the first page, I have my timer set to throttle percentage, which means that when you have the throttle as 100%, the timer it counts down at real time. At 50%, it counts down at half real time, and at 0, it stops. So that's a great way to know. You have to, of course, try it with each battery to see how much flight time you can get. But this is a great way to maximize flight time. So let's go into this page, which is the front page on the Jumper T16, and let's select, for instance, the A160, because here I have the A600 and A430, and they use the same protocol, the same settings, the same channel, so you don't have to, you can copy these. If you have one set up, you can copy one and just rename it, and you have for these two airplanes. But this one, the A160, uses a different protocol, so let's select this one. Select, and go into model page, and if we scroll down under internal RF, we'll find that this one actually uses, it says multi and KN as the protocol, and WL toys. So this is the way the A160 have to be set up. And of course you have to bind this one as with the other ones. So if we go into the mixes page, you can see that channel 1 is aileron, channel 2 is elevator, channel 3 is throttle, and channel 4 is rudder. And then on channel 8 we have the flight mode, which switches between 3D and 6G. So on the other two we had like channel 5, and on this one it's actually channel 8. And I've used the same switch, the SF switch, which is over here. If we go back to the inputs page, the inputs page, here I've set it up just at the other ones. So I have this one, I have dual rates, and if you need to reverse servo, you go into this output where you have maximum throw of each channel, and then you can reverse with these arrows. You can just scroll to this line and you can change it. So that's the way you set up the A430, the A600 and the A160 with a Jumper TX remote, and I'm certain you can do other airplanes as well. And of course we have to try that everything works. So I have my A430 set up with the TX. I can move the ailerons, I can move the elevator, I can move the rudder, and of course the throttle. And right now it's in stabilized mode, so you can hear the servos working, but it's not in auto level mode, the 6G mode. But if I flip the SE switch over here, I get the the auto level function as well. I can switch it off, so it's on and it's off. So that's the way you do it on one of these airplanes. And I suppose you can do it on almost anything. So thank you for watching.